Alright, welcome back. I'm going to try to switch out these bars with these other ones. One of the reasons why is because these cables always go over the front rack. And then the other reason is I kind of want to move this bike along. And I think this is just like a little bit too crazy for people. So I'm going to do it the old switcheroo and we'll see how we go. And then also got this stem, rough neck, kind of like a tough neck rip off, but pretty cool. And I'm just going to chuck it on here. I think that's probably like 50, 60 mil. And I think that'll look pretty cool with the black bars too. So yeah, one of the things with switching handlebars over or putting new bars is sometimes the cable's not long enough, but I've cut this one long. So I think this one should be fine. And then these two are pretty long as well. So we'll see how we go, but I might have to replace just one of them. And then this is using a stem adapter, stem converter. So this is threaded to threadless. This is threaded, so it should just pop over. And then yeah, just another consideration is this stem's quite short. So I think if I put it on this bike, it's gonna make it real crammed. So I've got a slightly longer one. I think that's like maybe 90, just an old SR Royal stem, pretty nice. All right, just taking the grips off, using some WD-40 and a zip tie. You kind of can shove the zip tie in there and then spray a bit of WD-40 in there. If you have an air compressor, some people use an air compressor too, and that makes it way easier. So yeah, those other grips came off real easy, but for some reason these were real hard to come off. These are Amy cam grips, BMX grips. Yeah, it should be the same because they're made for the same diameter bars, but for some reason these are kind of super tight. I guess they're made for BMX, so they won't slip. And then to take the levers off, I got to unhook the brakes to get a bit more cable, because you'll see for these levers, you got to put the screwdriver into the lever itself, and there's a little bolt where you can unscrew it and take it off. So yeah, you got to undo your brake cables, and then here, taking off the shifter. I just kind of bend it out a little bit and pull it off. And then there's also a little bit of rubber tubing I used to protect the bars, and that worked pretty well. Here, same on the other side. For this left-hand side, I also unhooked the cable from that point, and that made it a little bit looser. Here, just taking off the stem that's attached to the stem extender, and then I'm checking out, sizing up whether the new stem is necessary or not. I decided to just chuck on the old stem and bars, and then just hop on to see how it felt. And it ended up feeling pretty good. It didn't feel too crammed at all. I could still kind of move my legs. My knees weren't super close to the bars. And if I raised it up all the way, it felt pretty good, felt pretty roomy. I decided to give this a try, have the bars all the way raised up, almost kind of like a Rivendell bike, or kind of like a Dutch bike with the high bars and then lower seat, or lower than a handlebar seat. So make it kind of feel probably really cruisy, but won't be good for climbs, I think. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And then here I'm just putting on the levers and the shifter. I couldn't decide whether to run the shifter on the inside or outside. I ended up running it on the outside because I think when I put on the inside, it hit the lever a little bit and it started to go on the curve. You can see it go on curve there anyway. And then here I'm just working out where I want these levers to go. I ended up putting them just flush against the grips, but I wanted the end of the lever to be end of the bars. And then here you can see, yeah, the little shifter on top. Yeah, one thing about these nitto albatross bars, I think they don't have a lot of space on the handles, so if you're trying to chuck tons of stuff on, it's not going to fit. But yeah, I ended up running the shifter on top anyway, just because there wasn't too much room on the inside because the bars bent so much. But yeah, here's just chucking the grips on. I did end up cleaning the bars off first because there was WD-40 on there. But yeah, I just slip these on with water, and usually that works pretty well for me. And yeah, I think the bars are looking pretty sick. Alright, the seat's on. It'd be pretty cool to get like a layback seat post or something, but see how we go. And the front, looking pretty good, pretty happy with it. I think I just need to give it a clean and set up the brakes, make sure the brakes are going alright. I think I'm going to put this rack on though, may as well. Yeah, I think the rack suits this bike because it's more of a commuter or cruiser bike, and this rack is a lekker rack. So yeah, I was able to find some of these spaces in the middle. So that worked out pretty well. Yeah, can't really stand that logo, so I'm gonna chuck this on. So yeah, stickers is a good way to kind of cover stuff up if you don't like the look of it. And then just putting the bolt on for the rack. The nut has a little bit of nylon in it, so it makes it nice and tight, won't loosen off. And then here I had to adjust the brakes for the brake cable to be slightly longer so it didn't hit the rack. And yeah, just make sure your tire clears, and it was good. I didn't have to cut any new cables. And then onto the other bike. So yeah, just taking this profile stem off. It did look pretty good on the bike, but I'm going to try on this black one and see if it looks good as well. And if not, I'll switch it back. But I think the black should look pretty cool. So yeah, just alternate the bolts when you put it on, and there's a quick way to see if it looks good or not. Just use your arm and just hover over it to see how it's going to look. And then yeah, I was happy with the look, so I'm going to chuck it on. And then yeah, you can see I put the stem adapter, and then I had to raise the stem a little bit because I didn't want it to fall down on the lock nut of the threaded headset. And then yeah, just alternate your bolts when you do it up. Make sure the bar's the right tilt. I try to have the same tilt on the front as the head tube. And then yeah, just chucking the brake levers on. I got these Odyssey, I think Aaron Ross grips. They're kind of like little squares and they have little emojis on it. Originally I was going to just chuck on the whole grip. I think they're 160, but yeah, I ended up deciding against it because the levers were a little bit smaller and it will look a little bit funky. You can see these grips that have two ends. One has a little bit more extra grip, so make sure like when you cut them down, make sure you have the right end, the grippy side, closer to the lever, and that will stop it from kind of twisting. And just using kitchen shearers just to cut it. If you just cut it in one snip, it should come out pretty clean. And yeah, just make sure you double check which side you're cutting off so you don't cut the wrong side, because once you cut it, yeah, that's it. And putting the grips on again. Putting these grips on was like a little bit tough. I had to use zip ties to put the grips on, but yeah, it worked out. Just use 2 zip ties, one on top, one on bottom, bit of water, and then put them on. But yeah, when they're hard to put on, you know they're not going to slip. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. And then here, just taking this rack off and then just weighing it, just because I want to show you guys that it actually was pretty light. So yeah, the step-through bike ended up being pretty cruisy, I'd say, just with the high stem and the handlebars. Yeah, you're pretty much upright. Your back is like 9 degrees and you can really see like where you're going. And then for some reason, this was really easy to ride with no hands, like super fun. Yeah, you could take your hands off and it was really balanced. And then I think the rack helps with the kind of more upright posture as well, just because when you're carrying stuff, you just want good visibility. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy with it. So yeah, I think these bars made this bike really fun. Kind of changed it from a cruisy bike to more aggressive, and made you kind of just want to bunny hop around and have a little bit of a shred on it. Ended up being pretty fun. I think it also suits the bike as well, just with the kind of overall look of it. I guess it already had the BMX seat, so the moto bars didn't feel too out of place. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with the two builds, or the 2 swap overs. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.